the Republican nominee for president, became president, or I should say, will form a government in Israel. Bibi Netanyahu. I'm sorry. Bibi Netanyahu, of course, won the election in Israel. Here is let's start this segment off with this sound, and I think you should be able to hear it, of Geraldo Rivera actually being. Wait a second. See, this is what's great about this piece of sound. He's the voice of reason in this situation. He is on Fox and Friends with Steve Ducey, Elizabeth Hasselbeck, and Brian Kilmeade. And here is even Geraldo Rivera knows.
We're going to reassess our policy regarding Israel. We might go ahead and have you go back to the 1967 borders, which is going to screw you.
Well, I know that we disagree in a fundamental way about our Israel-U.S. policy. We are, dear friends. Nevertheless, I think that the four of us.
The four of us.
But if I were President Obama, I would have sent Bibi Netanyahu a congratulatory postcard by snail mail on the form written, "Congratulations on your recent election." I think that Bibi Netanyahu,
Is that the classic thing to do?
It is the appropriate thing to do to someone who has absolutely insulted the American constitutional system by coming here uninvited, or we can debate who and how that invitation was engineered, but it caused a division in the U.S.-Israeli relationship that has never existed before.
That's true.
It has carved the Congress of the United States in half. It has in many ways unsettled and made unstable that relationship. And then for Bibi Netanyahu to run the campaign in a way that I believe was, to its core, made a racist appeal to Israeli hard-right voters to come out because these droves of these Palestinians are going to vote. Arabs are going to vote.
We're judging prime ministers by how they run a campaign.
Well, let's hear from him because he has.
All right, let's.
For once. First of all, I'd like to ask if Geraldo was doing that while taking a topless selfie in his mirror.
No kidding. Well, I mean,
but he was actually speaking. I don't mean to cut you off. I'll let you go, but I want to say quickly, as much as I like to make fun of him, he actually was saying the truth there and making a lot of sense, which, every sort of 25%, I'd say one of every 4 times Geraldo talks, he still speaks like he used to before he went to Fox News, which is he's not always, let's say, the most let's say, empirically backed in what he says, but at least his sympathies used to be in the right place before Fox offered him a boatload of money.
I got to say, you listen to that audio, and it's almost as if Geraldo has walked into like a classroom of like 7 or 8 year olds, and they're jumping around at him, and he's just trying to calm them down and sort of explain what's going on. Have
you ever watched Fox and Friends?
Well,
I think a
yes.
classroom of 7 and 8 year olds. My son's 8 right now. I've seen his classroom. I think that I would put his knowledge up against that of Steve Ducey, Brian Kilmeade, and Elizabeth Hassel, everybody who talks to her.
I love how
now you're going to judge hosts by what they say.
Right. I was going to say I love how
just by their names.
I love how Kilmeade is like, oh, now we're going to judge prime ministers by how they run elections, as if, you just unpack that statement like, wait. When have you ever talked about other prime minister elections, it's like, oh, we're going to change how we cover prime minister elections? And then the other part is like, yeah, of course. That's exactly what you do during a campaign, is judge how they are campaigning.
Yeah, exactly. If we were bored, could we go back through the videotape, as the poor folks at Media Matters, I'm sure, have to do, and my condolences to them for their jobs, quite frankly, and find all the ways these guys have probably criticized anybody from a left.
Yeah, but it's not even hypocritical as much as it is like, oh, what are you going to do now? Add things together when you perform addition?
What are you going to do? What are we going to do? Actually listen when you say something and then hold you accountable? But the thing that's ridiculous, I'm not agreeing with Brian Kilmeade here because he's full of crap. The one thing I will say, that did strike me a little funny is that we're actually criticizing Bibi Netanyahu for running a racist campaign and winning, when we have one major party in this country that every 2 years runs a racist campaign and says they're going to come out and vote. you better vote. Look who's going to vote. Or
Totally
says,
agree with that.
Oh, who we got? What? Food stamps, wink, wink, welfare, I don't know, tough on crime. I mean, let's be honest, close the borders. We're not closing the border to Canada. I wonder why that is. I'm just saying, it did seem to me a little bit silly to be criticizing Bibi Netanyahu for this without criticizing Bibi Netanyahu, and also saying he didn't do something that was unprecedented. He did the same thing that his allies on this side of the water do every single election.